anytime you have a disappointing loss for coaches, the quicker that you can get back on the court or in the film room, I think it's always better than to mull and stew about it for a while. And for this particular situation, we've had an unusual semester where we practice in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday due to some class schedules. So we had practice this morning. And I think that was the best thing that probably could have happened after a disappointing loss yesterday, just in a sense of being able to get in the film room and dissect what happened, what we could have done better. And I think that this team will respond. And I'm looking forward to the 40 Acres field trip on Wednesday. And it's always a lot of fun to have those young ones here, and it's a raucous building and one that I think our players enjoy. And then Sunday, a Southern team comes in here that's been picked to win their league. So I think these will be two challenging games for us in different ways. But every game right now is good for our team because we have so many players that are in learning experiences that I think the games are the best tool as far as film, showing situations where we can improve.
Coach, you, just this time last week, I mean, you know it's going to be a grind. I guess you said until probably January.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for you in your mindset. You've been there, done that. How easy or how are your young ladies doing with the whole mindset of grinding through maybe some tough times?
I think they've been okay. I wouldn't say it was like a come to Jesus today or anything like that. It's pretty early for our team. But I think that just the conversation today was about players sort of accepting the fact that they have been in and out, accepting the fact that they're not quite where they want to be, and where everybody else wants them to be, but it is a reality that you're out 5 or 6 months. It's going to take you some time to find yourself. And in the midst of that, you're trying to find your niche on the team and your role on the team. And so I think the reality of it is we have a couple of players that have been in workouts. And we're going to have to lean on them a little bit. And when I say that, I really mean Joyner and Charlie. I think we're going to have to lean on them a little bit more than what we naturally would. If everybody was healthy and had been here the whole time, I think we would look different, but we don't. And that's just our reality right now. And the quicker that we get to that and do some simple things, really, really simple things, I think we'll start to see the light. And I think that's important for them to understand, and they processed that today, and I thought they were pretty good in workouts.
Kirk and Cedric.
How do you explain the turnovers? You're a former guard. Jamie Carey is one of the best guards to ever play here, but that seems to be a recurring issue. How do you explain that?
With yesterday, I think it was just a simple lack of recognition as to how we were being played and the patience to just make the simplest play you can make, whether it be a skip pass, one more pass. Again, they came out hot, and I thought we maybe pushed the panic button a little bit in shooting too quick and not sharing the ball, and that turned into a lot of turnovers, situations where we just needed to make a really simple pass, Kurt. We needed to go from point A to point B to point C, and instead we're trying to get A to Z as fast as possible, and I think that's inexperience, cohesion, so to say. Chemistry and cohesion, which is just right now not present. Yeah, and I mean, again, that's the conversation you have today, which is just, look, you might not be where you were in June. I mean, really, really good spring. You know, she came off of a great year last year, and then just an unfortunate situation where now she has to kind of take a step back and go, okay, what am I capable of? What am I not? Am I trying to do things that my body's not even, her brain is probably telling her something different than her body is right now. And I think that will come. It will come. I think is not even the word for it. I mean, Sugar's a fantastic basketball player that has just got to play herself through this.
But as an overall issue that's kind of been there for a while, it's got to be driving you.
Again, with the pace that we try to play at it, there's been times in the past that I've thought, okay, you can live with a few of these, but they're just from lack of patience. I mean, seriously, it's just get the ball from one place to the next and not force anything and let the offense come. And yes, I would say it drives me crazy, man. There's no question about that. It's a possession game, and we're losing a multitude of them. But when you look at the film and they see it, it's not a conversation. It's not like we haven't had the conversation. It's just you get in the moment and they're inexperienced and they didn't handle yesterday very well.
Hey, Karen, for like a 10-day period last year, LaShawn Higgs was maybe the best guard in the country. Has an injury, and you don't come back overnight from that surgery. Where's she mentally, and how have you guys kept her up? Because we know she gets down on herself.
I think the hardest part for players that are injured is, again, the time that it takes for them to find themselves again. And we have 3 guards that were out all summer and most of fall. And they know what they're capable of. So to answer that question about LaShawn, I mean, she definitely knows what she's capable of. Her clock is ticking. She's anxious. She wants to do well. And she has maybe some limitations that eventually probably won't be there as far as the body and the mind, but they are there right now. And so, again, I get back to the simple plays. Make the simple play right now until you get your confidence going. Play through your post players, and then it will, I think there'll be a day when it'll just be like, okay, I'm good. But we're not right now. And that's the quicker that we just handle that and move on and try to correct the mistakes, the better. But she's okay. I mean, she is hard on herself, but most good players are.
Because this is so unique, the way you're losing, the injuries, all of these things are unique to your team. How important is your role right now, whether it's figuring out if you need to grind or pull back a little and try to just bring their confidence up? How do you balance those things?
I think it's important for our entire coaching staff to stay connected with them. Again, we had a lot of conversation. Just where were we coming out of timeouts yesterday with youth? I can think of 2 timeouts we came out of that we didn't know who we were guarding, and those are things that you just, as a head coach, you're like, okay, how do we not know who we're guarding? And so it's our job to say, okay, this is young. That we have combinations that have never played together. We have kids that either haven't ever played or didn't play any significant minutes last year, and then we have a couple of older guards trying to find themselves. So where's our leadership? And we have to help them in every way that we possibly can. So to answer your question, it's all on us. I mean, we have to make sure we're helping them navigate through this and not be negative. I mean, I don't feel negative, to be honest with you. I'm disappointed, and I should be. We all should be, but I do understand that I have to help them navigate through the waters that they're in right now, because it is uncomfortable. I mean, there are some that know that they're capable of more than where they are right now. And we have to simplify some things and try to figure out where are the best places we can score the ball. What's our best defense? Because we don't have one right now. If anything would drive me insane, it's that we're not guarding very well. But I have to also look at our depth issue and what can I do from a creative standpoint to try to help them get some stops in a row. We call it kills. You get 3 in a row, you get a kill, and we don't have very many of those right now. We struggle with even little things like we'll score a bucket and we'll get a little momentum, and then we don't get back down the floor and we give up an easy transition basket. That's youth. Happened in the South Florida game. It happened yesterday when I thought we were about to make a run, and then Ari just goes down there and shoots a layup uncontested because we're still back in that moment of we scored a bucket, yay. But it just the speed of the game is so different, and when you haven't been practicing or you haven't played at this level, you're going to learn some lessons really fast. I mean, that team, they brought back everybody but I think one player from an NIT championship, and you could tell. I mean, I could tell watching them on film from last year to this year how much more mature they were. And, you know, we're not a very mature team right now.
Is it hard to not get them to press? You know, I know it's still early. But
I think they are pressing a little bit just from, I mean, we've missed, I said this last week and I'll say it again, we make shots in practice that we're not making in games right now. So I think that will come as they relax. Again, get used to a rotation. I mean, Joyner hit it on the head yesterday in media. She said, you know, we've got combinations that have never played together, and a lot of them. And there's just got to be, we got to find some combinations that work, and what is a rotation from a substitution rotation, and get them comfortable. And we're not quite there yet.
Are you guys any closer to getting Audrey back? Or where she kind of at right now?
She's it's status quo with Audrey right now. She's still in protocol.
Then also, how have you viewed the development of your freshman guards, Celeste and Isabel?
How what? I'm sorry.
You kind of viewed their development and where they are this early on in their freshman year.
I think Izzy is in that same category with Shug and LaShawn. I mean, she was out the same amount of time. She and Shug are on the same timetable. She might be a few days ahead of Shug as far as the timetable of how long they've practiced, and that's tough for a freshman to not go through any of the off-season workouts in the summer or fall and then jump into it right when season starts. So I think Izzy is another one of those players that her brain is telling her something different than what her body is probably. I think she's a very cerebral player that understands scouts and can understand concepts. So I think she'll come along. It's hard to judge her development because we haven't, and she literally hasn't practiced but 2 or 3 weeks. So she's in that same time frame with Shug. They were released right at the same time. Celeste is pressing a little bit. I think she knows that we need her. I think she knows there's a lot of expectations. So she's trying to work through speed of the game, physicality of the game, and I think she knows she's probably one of our better defenders, but she's guarding sometimes some pretty intelligent players that are crafty and know how to get a quick foul on her, so she'll learn as she goes along. I mean, I'm pleased with Celeste. I think she's a freshman that's sort of getting thrown in there, and she'll get better and better every time she steps on the floor. She'll learn lessons, which she did yesterday.
How fun and neat is Kids Day on Wednesday, Coach? Loud crowd. It's going to be fun.
It's my most favorite day of the year as far as crowd involvement and just the joy of seeing those young guys in the arena and knowing that they're getting a glimpse of the University of Texas, not just basketball but our university in general. I think it's exposure that a lot of these young guys just never get. I mean, if you bring a middle schooler in here, an elementary kid that sees our campus and sees a college basketball player for the first time, you never know what that inspires them to do. And I think for us, I always try to use this game as an energizer. Let's just play hard and give these little people something to cheer about. And I think we'll focus on that on Wednesday and try to get better. I mean, for sure. But I definitely, it's the only thing I hate about this is that I think a few years ago, we had this game in a conference game, and I think Oklahoma got mad at us or something and said, "Now, y'all, we don't need to do that in conference play anymore because we went in double overtime. The kids were nuts." And we hit a shot and won the game, and now we've moved it up where we don't do it in conference play. And I wish we could still do it in one of the league games. It would be fun. We could. It's not favorable.
Staying on that line, what do you know about this UTRGV team, and what kind of challenges do you expect from them?
Yeah, we went to the Valley last year. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but we did that, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a sellout down there, and I think every high school kid in that area came to that game, and it was tough. It was a really tough environment. They played great. They will present some challenges for us because they dribble drive. They shoot the three really well. They're a little undersized, but they will really attack you, try to penetrate and kick. And we didn't guard that very well last year. I remember that. I have not looked back at that game. I will. I spent most of yesterday looking at Sunday's game. But as we move forward, I mean, we just have to keep them in front of us. And then, again, back to Kirk's question, let's see if we can get a shot off every possession. I think that, we didn't turn the ball over much against UTSA. And, when you can get a shot off every possession, obviously you get a chance to make the shot, but you also get a chance to have a rebound. And that's pretty critical for our team to make sure we try to get a shot off.
Other questions?
How good is McDonald?
Say it again.
How good is McDonald?
She's good. She's good. She's really, really good. And what I thought was better about them than last year was her decision making as to what shot is a good shot and when to kick it. Obviously, we picked our poison going under her early in the game, but to be honest with you, that was a percentage thing because once she gets and starts to split defenders and gets in the paint, she's really a problem. And we picked our poison, and she made us pay for it early. And then you get a little strung out when she starts to go downhill. So I think that they're a really good team. But not to take anything away from them or her. She was fantastic, but I didn't think we helped ourselves at all with our shot selection and the turnovers. I still think we would have had a hard time with her, but I think it would have made for a better game had we handled the basketball better.